do me a favour, can you, help?
Love you too.
Hello, and welcome to Damn It Vacant, a wrestling podcast. I'm Joe, and as you can probably deduce, I'm on my own here today to give my dumb little review of Odyssey Pro Wrestling's latest show, Stormy Waters, as I was the only one of us who attended because I am the best one. See, I can say that, as there's nobody else here to disprove it. Anyways, there was a lovely atmosphere in the a lot warmer than normal Alhambra when we rolled in. We got to see Nightmare, Sheriff Steele, and Isaac Wint doing the VIP meet and greet photos, which is nice to see. I had a little chat with Silent Mark about an upcoming little sort of crossing of the streams podcast things I've got in mind. And as always, he's an absolute delight to talk to. My only one request is in the announcements that he does is more references to communism, Fabergé eggs, and Satan Greavesy. I got settled, and before we know it, the show's starting, and we get Mark doing his thing, bringing out the fantastic Mark Adams, and also Greg Lambert, out for commentary, and then poof, straight into the first match. See, I've seen Craig Collins a fair few times, and every time he scares me a little bit more, because like the man's a mountain of muscles and anger with a big beard on top. And as he's making his way around the ring, sneering at the fans, Nightmare comes out, sneaks under the ring, and slides across to the other side so that when his music hits, he just broadsides Collins with like a massive, massive crossbody off the top rope. We get a good bit of back and forth, with Nightmare trying to use his speed and dexterity against Collins's just sheer brute force and viciousness. We get dived to the outside, grotty looking brainbusters, and just as it all starts to see going Nightmare's way, as he hits a 619, which is a move I genuinely hate, Sonam's music hits and distracts Nightmare long enough for Collins to hit that like absolute murder of a finish that he's got and get the pin. Once again, just to point out, there was another chant of Timu Fatu, but I turned around and gave them one of my looks. I don't know if it helped, but it stopped, so I don't know, maybe it did something. Anyway, an absolute banger of a way to start the show. Next up, we have the man we love to hate, Lucas, against one of my new favourites, the man of indeterminable age, Wildfire Nate Reese. Now, while both these have had interactions in the past, this seemed like Lucas was trying to humiliate Reese, and Reese like trying to get his mojo back after being killed to death by Mickey Barnes. What followed was great. Lucas trying to slow the pace down with holds and grounding Reese, and like on the brief flurries of opportunity he got, Reese throwing everything in his playbook at Lucas, who just wouldn't stay down for the three until he's too worn out to get his shoulder up, and yeah, Nate Reese gets the victory. Nate takes the microphone, we get a little promo about how he's still got ongoing business with toughest man on the estate, Mickey Barnes, and that's not over, and at the next show he's calling him out for one last match. Barnes then appears and his main squeeze Chardonnay appear on the big screen and they accept the challenge, although it isn't a challenge as you're not a threat, which is like one of the coldest things I've heard in a very long while. OPW Women's Championship is up next. To quote my nephew, Evil Elsa, Leah Raven defending against challenger, Lana Austin's best friend, Holly Barlow. Now, at Overboard, both Leah and Holly were involved in a triple threat with Lana for this championship, which Leah won and started her sort of down this dark path that she's on. But since then, Holly and Lana have become unlikely allies, shall we say? And with this unceremonious mugging of Lana that we got at the last show, courtesy of the Empress of Anarchy, Holly was sort of out for revenge. Unfortunately, like that was not to be, with Leah showing new levels of aggression and almost like vindictiveness at times that we've never seen from her. Holly managed to get like a few good shots in, but when you're playing by your own rules, a lot more becomes available to you, including a really rough-looking, like, knee to the face to the ring post on the outside that will haunt me for quite some time. Leah scoops the win, and instead of celebrating, she sends a message to anyone coming after the championship by locking in the same armbar on Holly as she used on Lana, and held it until the referee could separate them. She then proceeded to ask for a microphone and dropped it in the ring without saying a word and walked away. It's like powerful, powerful good stuff. Your first half main event rolls around and it's Meatwagon, who are going through something of a friendship issue at the moment against the champion and Morecambe's new favourites, the Viral Connection. Like both teams looked amazing in like matching new gear, but even during the intros, like you could tell things were off between Troy Ryan and Anderson Daniels. Like Daniels dancing about to the VC's entrance music, which to be honest, it's difficult not to do. As the match got underway, there was clearly a bit of miscommunication in the Meat Wagon camp, as Viral Connection isolated and dominated for like a big portion of the first half. They just couldn't really get on the same page. It was only like when Ryan, using underhanded tactics, shall we say, gave them that advantage that we saw the Meat Wagon doing what they do best. Big, meaty men slapping meat. It was a series of really quick cover attempts from both sides, leaving everyone like sort of scrambling as to what to do. And then this is when Troy Ryan, unbeknownst to Daniels, brought in one of the tag vents to finish off their opponents and take back what they think is theirs. However, Anderson Daniels, was like, this is not who we are. And there's a bit of a collision between the Meat Wagon, and it allowed the Viral Connection to do that really lovely sort of finishing sequence that they do and secure the victory. And then, like, after the match, there was a lot of fallout that you really need to watch. I can't do it justice because there was a lot of moving parts in this. But the Meat Wagon nearly turned on each other. But eventually, dropped a massive beatdown on the champions, leaving them barely able to leave the ring under their own power. So we've now got, full heel Meat Wagon, which I'm very much on board for. And it's like, that was your first half, and I'm like, okay, sweet. I'd walk away now. That was enough. After my traditional bathroom break and raffle ticket purchase, we started the second half with former OPW GM Ethan Edwards going up against the brilliant Sheriff Steele, accompanied by Isaac Wint. If you haven't, please do go back and listen to the interviews we did with them a few weeks back. I know the information will be out of date now, but they're nice people, they're good people, and they were a lot of fun to record with. Before the bell, Ethan announced that while he has been on winning tag teams, he himself has never won a match in his career, and that through Brian Aidenson's help, who couldn't be at ringside, as apparently he was at an Aldovian martial arts festival. This was about to change. Wint somehow managed to grab Silex announcer's mic to offer words of encouragement to both wrestlers throughout the match, but also seemed to trap Mark behind him, leading to a sort of whose line is it anyway type shenanigan. In the end, it was like Steele's wrestling prowess shined through against Ethan's sort of raw aggression. We got Steele paying a little tribute to Hot Dog Hulk Hogan as well by dropping a big leg on Edwards. Despite Wint's best efforts for everyone to have fun, Edwards, taking down his straps, laid in a series of really powerful and good clothesline to get the 1, 2, 3, much to the crowd's delight. Steele fled the ring, possibly to get away from Wint, and Wint approached the visibly relieved Edwards to offer him a handshake. Big screen then comes on, revealing the acting GM, James Greenwood, issuing congratulations to Ethan and telling us that while he's out on a talent scouting mission for upcoming shows, which is very, very exciting, he also alluded to a guest GM at the next show, possibly offering up a little reward to Ethan after his victory. This was not the case, however. The next show, Panic Stations, on the 27th of September, will be ran by Isaac Wint. So I'm hoping for absolute just lunacy on this show. I want grain on a pole matches. Do it. Next out was Holloway versus Lucky, who are both really new to Odyssey, both first appearing at the Overboard Rumble and immediately taking a dislike to each other, with Holloway leaving Lucky behind during a 6-way tag match they had at the next show. Now, I don't know much about either of these lads, but this was a great match. Holloway's that right level of slightly conceited, but good enough to back it up. And that works brilliantly for a bad guy. And Lucky has that kind of, I don't know, maniacal children's entertainer energy that I would normally find really, really annoying. But with him, it just works really, really well. Holloway was in control for most of the match with some big suplexes. But Lucky, living up to his name, came back with some outrageous aerial nonsense, leaving Holloway down in the ring waiting something off the top rope to see him off. Unfortunately, this was not to be, as Getsky appeared for, I think, the first time in Morecambe, pulling Holloway to safety and leaving Lucky to come down hard off a Swanton bomb. A great match, honestly, a legitimately great match from two new faces at OPW, and honestly, yeah, more of them. I could take another 2-3 matches of them to build up a little feud with them. Good stuff. Your main event was fan favourite RPD challenging champion Andre Decker for the OPW Championship. End of the last show, RPD said he was taking back what was rightfully his, and to be fair, Decker has had some incredibly tough defences of that belt, so both men were out for blood straight out the gate in this match, and there was no love lost from the beginning. Now, I don't know much, but as a professional journalist, I'd have to say that at least 2/3 of the 78,000 people in attendance were in RPD's corner, and the other half were chanting for Decker. It's fun jokes. A little bit of feeling out quickly turned into a back and forth, with neither man getting the better of the other, probably because they've known each other since, day one at Odyssey, and they know each other's movesets and that. Decker spiked RPD with the hangover, which has put away a lot of wrestlers, but barely got a 2 count out of RPD. Some top rope superplex action led to a sort of avalanche Superman punch in response, which couldn't keep the champ down. And this was the bit where I realised something, this is the thing that I really love about wrestling. When a match has that much heart and story and passion to it, that everything else in the real world, everything else in the room falls away. And it's just you with, tunnel vision on what's happening. And I know it sounds stupid, but that's legitimately what happened to me, was that everything else went quiet and I was 100% hyper-focused on this. And it's a truly beautiful thing, and Odyssey do these moments all the time. And they just suck me in 100% into what's happening. And it's great. Decker hits RPD with the hair of the dog, but I guess sensing safe is better than sorry. He goes for a second one to seal the deal. And there's a power failure that sort of snapped me back out of my beautiful little trance I was in and made me go, oh yeah, Rick Marcus is still menacing about with that contract he won. And that's exactly what happens. Coming to the ring in his old Born Ready hoodie, he declares that this is now a triple threat match, before proceeding to take down both RPD and Decker, before cuffing RPD to the ropes, leaving Decker with no chance of even a brief allyship. The enemy of my enemy is my, and so on. Marcus proceeds to brutalise Decker with consecutive spears, and that really nasty as hell chair thing on the neck that he does, so well. Decker has nothing left in his tank. And your new Odyssey Pro Wrestling champion is the Cumbrian outlaw and self-proclaimed god of Morecambe, Rick Marcus, who then proceeded to taunt RPD with the belt before leaving. An absolutely tremendous wild night, as always, and a really good, fun, positive crowd that were left feeling with that sense of deflation that makes you really want to see what's coming at the next show. Hopefully, an Aldovian horseback match or something. Also, massive love to Decker, who, while having a relatively short run as champion, has left a big, lasting mark on its legacy, and for that, I'm thankful. So yeah, next show is Panic Stations on the 27th of September. I think all front row seats have gone by intermission. It's a few second row left. I know I say this all the time, but there is genuinely nothing in this world like OPW and the crowd at Morecambe. So if you can get yourself along to it, do it. I'll be there, but don't let that stop you. I hope you've enjoyed this anyway. Let me know if you haven't, or if you have. For Damn It Vacant, I've been Joe, and I really need a good catchphrase to finish this on.